And eventually we might do something. Oh no, I'm trying to figure it out. What are you laughing at?
I don't know. The whole absorbing thing.
5,
It's
6,
just
7, 8. I think we're good to go.
I picture a sponge.
All right, we're just in here warming up a little bit, giggling at stuff that I don't know what we're giggling at. But go ahead and grab something to eat, grab something to drink, and we'll get going. And now that we got Mr. Boggins' favorite song out of the way.
Is that trademarked?
Everything's trademarked.
I should have. Dang it.
Dang it. Welcome in, everybody. MHRT podcast. This is going to be an interesting episode. It's kind of less structured and more just talking Broncos football, talking about when you guys became fans, when we became fans, all that kind of stuff. But you can catch us live every Thursday at 7654. You can, again, figure out where those numbers go. We go live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. Go ahead and follow us on Facebook. Like and subscribe on YouTube and on, well, you can't really like and subscribe, but like and follow on Facebook. There we go. All right. So let's just go into the basics. Does anybody have any interesting stories on why they became a Broncos fan?
Interesting. I guess you'd have to define interesting. Basically, the way I became a Broncos fan was just through The Simpsons. I don't know if you've ever seen the episode where Homer gets a new job working for a new company, some guy named Hank Scorpio. And then at the end of the episode, well, before that, Homer had told his boss that his real dream in life was to one day own the Dallas Cowboys. So at the end of that episode, as like a joke, the writers, they gave Homer his dream of owning a football team, except it wasn't the Cowboys, it was the Broncos. And during that animation, they showed a couple of guys falling down, not catching the ball. And they made
the one that walks out his door and goes, "Oh, the Denver Broncos."
Yeah. And that's how I actually first learned about the Broncos, because I live in Chicago. So up until then, it was, Bears, everything, Cubs, White Sox, all that good stuff. Yeah. So, and then that's when I actually started getting into football, and I couldn't watch all the Broncos games because they didn't play them locally here, but I did see the Super Bowl when they played against the Falcons. And that was actually like the very first full Broncos game I ever watched. And, ever since then, up until when I graduated, and as much as I could, I watched Broncos games, and little by little, I just started to become a fan.
That's cool. It's pretty cool.
Simpsons bringing people together.
Years later, yeah.
If you're a South Park fan, you'll know they're big time Broncos.
True.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to watch that though when you've got kids and you got kids at a certain age. You're like, well, I gotta wait until they go to bed before I can watch South Park.
I actually went to high school with Matt Stone, so
that's cool.
South Park, yeah.
That is awesome.
But I'll go. I grew up in Littleton, Colorado, so southwest Denver. I started watching the team when I was 6 years old, and it turned out to be a good year to watch them. It was 1977, and the first year they made the Super Bowl, so the Orange Crush year. So I've been hooked ever since. So that's, cartoons back then were only on Saturday morning, so I had to rely on the games. But that's how I became a fan, just being out there. And it's impossible not to get swept up in it. It was great.
That's cool.
Yeah. Mine was definitely the back when I was elementary school, 97, 98. And I was just getting into football. I was 9 years old, and everyone was a big Packers. Talk about the Packers all the time at my school. Even growing up in Washington State, because the Seahawks weren't really anything to write home about. And but the Packers were all anybody talked about. And I went to my first Super Bowl party with Mom's coworker, who happened to be a Denver Broncos fan. She knew the Schlereths. And it was just a great experience. They won that Super Bowl, and I was like, wow, this team's really great. And then the next year they went back, and I was locked in. 9 years old, completely locked in, and it was like my biggest team besides the Sonics at that time. And then we lost the Sonics, and so my whole world became the Broncos.
I didn't know we were allowed to bring props and share screens here. This is he just one-upped us, I think.
That's right.
That's not okay.
Oh, okay.
There you go, Glenn. What was Matt Stone like in high school?
Matt was very funny and one of the smartest kids in the entire school. He was super intelligent, just a real good guy. So it's great to see his success. He was just incredibly smart.
Did you actually see South Park when it debuted, Glenn?
No.
Oh, okay. I was about to say, like, you probably sitting there like, I know that guy.
Oh, well, when it first came on, yes, I did. But I didn't know
okay.
anything about it prior to. I mean, I haven't talked to him in ages.
Like, I thought you'd have flashbacks. Like, he did those voices and during lunch.
Yeah.
He kept killing Kenny every day.
I did. The first game I ever watched was, I think it was either 95 or 96. It was the Broncos and the Jets. I was living in New York at the time. And like my dad turned on a football game and was like, hey, you want to watch the football? Like, sure. So I sat down and was watching, and I was like, oh, the team in the blue and orange looks cool. And he goes, it's the Broncos. We live in New York, so you got to cheer for the green team. I didn't want to.
You don't want to.
I cheered for the orange and blue team. And I just liked them ever since. So, yeah, I don't think – isn't that the first year that they changed to the new uniforms? Was that 96?
I believe so.
Or was that 95?
I think they changed the logo, the horse. They left they went from the D to the
Right. Was that in 96?
That was in 97.
They won their first Super Bowl was
97. Yeah.
I thought it was the year before that they won, that they switched.
No, it's 97. I have the banner with the logos thing on the other side.
Okay, so we should switch jerseys again, is what you're saying.
I thought it was the year that they lost to the Jaguars in the championship.
That was
the year they switched. Yeah, I thought that was the year that they switched to their new uniforms.
No, it was the following year after that.
Okay.
It's 97.
That's awesome. I just grew up in Colorado, and my family was always watching football, Broncos fans. I didn't really, when I was younger, I didn't really get into watching football as much until I got, I remember not a lot, but I remember watching, they used to have parties all the time at the house when the Super Bowl was on, and it was the Broncos. And I remember I was just so into the game. I don't even know how old I was. I think I was maybe 9 or 10, but I was so into the game, and they lost. And I remember crying. And I think like that was the first year that I was really like, I really liked the Broncos, and I really wanted them to win like all the time. So I just grew up there, and I became a bigger fan when I moved away. I think I followed them when I was a teenager, a lot, but I became like a more, pronounced fan when I moved away. So I had to put up with the Raiders fans here. So
you basically didn't fall under that. And I don't know if it's a rule, but it's something that I've seen a lot of people say, that if just because you're from a certain city or whatever, that you're supposed to root for that team.
Yeah.
I've never agreed with that. Like, granted, I still like the White Sox and the Blackhawks and the Bulls, but I don't care for the Cubs and I don't care for the Bears.
I'm not gonna lie, like
Obviously.
I supported the Seahawks, because they're local teams. So you're like, cool, and then like when we played each other in the Super Bowl, I had like a Broncos hat with like a Seahawks hoodie. I had to buy it for the Super Bowl because I didn't have it before. So I was just like, all right, I'm gonna. And I went to a house full of Seahawks fans and was downstairs like with only a couple people watching down there. And when the Seahawks won, I was like, oh, good for you guys. That was like, I was very, very bitter, but it's like, good for you guys. And then my buddy came up to me. He's like, yes, he was a drunk. And he's like, screw the Broncos. He took my hat and he threw it. And from that moment on, I was like, go get my hat right now. He's like, oh, okay. And he went and got my hat. And I was like, nope. I'm not even like, whatever. I don't really, that's fine. Yeah.
No,
that's fine.
I get that. Like, cause I've lived in Washington, Georgia, and Minnesota, and each time you move somewhere else, you're like, oh, okay, well, I had a Falcons jersey while I was down there. I went to a Seahawks game when I was in Washington. I had like some Viking stuff when I was younger, but just because I like them doesn't mean that they're my team. Like,
yeah, but it's amazing, like the looks you get from certain people. Like when I was up in Wisconsin Dells last year. And it was literally the exact same day. It was on Sunday when the Packers were playing the Broncos. And like everybody was just, all Packered out. And I was like the only guy walking around with Bronco stuff. And my dad would lean into me. He's like, you should have left your Bronco stuff in the car. People are looking at you. I'm like, I don't care.
You can't root for another team if your parents are fans of that team.
I do find it weird though that like I'm supportive of like Seahawks. Like, yeah, good for you. Like, cool. Yeah, whatever. But they always talk crap to me, like we are relevant to each other at all. And we played each other in the Super Bowl, and you dominated us. Why are you talking crap to me? I feel like I should be mad at you, if any. Okay, well,
congrats on your one championship win.
Long enough to be since they were, in the since the Seahawks were in the AFC. So it's like whatever.
Everybody's always mad at Broncos fans. That's just how it goes.
Broncos fans are mad at Broncos fans.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. And I live in a household where, my sister's a Steelers fan, my brother's a Lions fan, and my dad is a Bears fan. So it's like,
that's fun though.
And my nephew's like, I don't know which team to root for. I was like, dude, you know what? Just pick whatever football team you like. You don't have to
go with a completely different team.
I'm like, go with a completely team if you want. You don't have to feel pressure like you have to pick sides. But if you want to be a champion, you'll wear this Broncos jersey. That's all I'm saying.
Then he's like Chiefs, and you're like, no. I'll
turn the Wi-Fi off.
Kenneth threw this one out earlier. Said, has anybody played the John Elway football?
No, but
I've never heard of it.
I've heard of it.
Was there a John Elway football game?
Yeah, it was before the Madden franchise.
The earliest football game I ever played was Blitz.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've played. It was okay.
You could just be John Elway and run for 700 yards in the game.
Yeah.
You just had to slip around the right side.
Remember NFL Game Day? They had NFL Game Day, and it had Terrell Davis on the cover.
Yeah.
I had that.
Yeah, I've seen that one. I never played it though.
That was great. Yeah. Too bad Madden controls the world now.
Yeah.
Basically.
I am picturing Marcus at the party when the moment the snap goes over Peyton's head, taking the hat off and hiding it under a blanket.
Yeah, that was a day.
Cool.
That was a day to forget. Yeah.
That was a bad
Richie. 2005 was my first Broncos game. My ex was a Pats fan, and the Broncos played them. I cheered for the Broncos. I liked the way they played and hated the Pats. Then I got married to a Broncos fan in 2010. Awesome. 2005, fairly new.
That's cool, though.
Yeah, that's
the only thing I liked about that 2013 Super Bowl was Bruno Mars, and even then, I had a really hard time trying to enjoy that. My ex-girlfriend at the time was texting me. She was like, you can just turn the TV off if you want. I'm like,
baby, it's Bruno Mars. I can just turn the TV off.
I think the only time I've ever cried during a football game was that Super Bowl.
Oh, it was bad for me.
Terrible.
We had a
sad cry. It was one of those it was an angry cry.
Yeah, I had a Super Bowl party at my house, and literally so many people over, and I talked trash like the whole day. Like I was very confident that they were going to win. And as the game went on, I was just sitting in the couch and I put my hoodie over my head and I was just sitting there and I didn't even want to watch anymore. That was hard.
I just like how we came out at halftime, maybe they'll at least get some point, and then the very first, you're like, okay.
No, it was perfect.
Yeah.
Like we decorated the whole house, and I had Broncos banners up and everything, and literally as the last touchdown was being made by the Seahawks, the banner literally fell off the ceiling onto the floor. I was like, that's perfect.
My wife and I actually went to that game. It was we got tickets on Thursday night. The prices had just plummeted because it looked like it was going to be a cold weather game. We're within driving distance of New Jersey, and so we decided, let's do it. So we get down there. We go to a rooftop party that was included with our ticket in Manhattan. We're all jacked up. We go to the game, and Marcus said it exactly. So we would sit there through the Bruno Mars. It was depressing first half, but the halftime show was so great. I go to the bathroom right afterwards, and they're piping in the broadcast over the speakers in the bathroom. And Percy Harvin runs back the kick. I was like, it's over, man. Standing at the urinal, knowing it's over. But I will say that the fans were they were very gracious. I was glad because it could have been an ugly scene in the parking lot, or at the trains. But it was that was an experience. No matter what, it's still one of my favorite days.
That's exactly why I didn't say a word during the 2015. I didn't say a word. I was in that same house that I was for the 13, and everybody was like, "Why aren't you saying anything? Why aren't you saying anything?" And I was like, I don't want to say anything that might ruin this. I understand that it keeps nothing. Yeah, I don't want. Not gonna say.
I'm not even gonna move.
Yeah. I went outside and screamed afterwards. I was.
You know what? I will say this though. I think a lot of Broncos fans had that same look in their eyes. I don't know if you remember seeing just before the AFC Championship game, they showed a couple of Broncos players watching what Cam Newton had done to Arizona, and they were just looking at it like, yeesh. You think New England's tough to beat. If we win this, we got to go and try to beat that. So it was like
it was at least a conversation with the 2013, but with 2015, everybody was like, "Nah, Panthers." Mm-hmm. So that was being an underdog, and everyone wanted to see it too. It was cool having people actually on our side that wanted to see Cam Newton just get his face smashed in the ground.
Those 2 weeks, I was more religious than I've been in the last 30 years. Let me just
Thomas Adema with a book. I'm from Michigan, but for a couple of years I lived in Colorado. In 1979, my second grade teacher told our class that if we were not Broncos fans, that we were not much in her eyes. Awesome. She was a season ticket holder and would bring us prizes from the games. In case you did not know, the Detroit Lions were not very good back then or now. So it was easy to become a Broncos fan. The rest is history. That is an awesome teacher.
Great story.
I gotta drop her name. That's great.
Yeah, drop her name.
Yeah, right.
Kenneth Booker. Do you want to hear the only funny pre-97 Bronco joke? What do the Broncos and weed have in common? They both get smoked in the bowl.
And post 97, unfortunately.
Yeah.
When we lose, we do it well.
Yes.
We don't mess around. Like we either win or we lose very, very badly.
Right.
I was in college when the Super Bowl against the Niners, and I talked so much smack that day. I was dressed up. I'm in the dining hall, full gear, the works. We have a party in the lounge, and I've never been so abused in my life. I had to retreat and finish watching the game by myself in my room.
Yeah.
Brutal.
Yeah.
All right. So who going back through every team, every player that's ever played for the Broncos, who's your favorite player of all time?
Oh, who?
John Elway.
Yeah, that's obvious.
I mean, he's the reason I became a Broncos fan. So, I love Von Miller. I love what obviously look what the quarterbacks after John Elway tried to, do or emulate. But other than that, I felt like Von Miller coming in 2011 was a bit of a rejuvenation for the franchise. You know, it gave people that were already Broncos fans hope, and it brought other people into the organization who maybe weren't Broncos fans to begin with, you know, to become fans. So it's just, and I used to have arguments with coworkers, you know, about, you know, how it would be if John Elway hadn't lost those 3 Super Bowls, how great, you know, he is or was, or how he could beat Tom Brady in his prime if he still played in the mid 2000s. I mean, these were all like silly arguments, but still, it was like I always
Yeah.
ground.
You want to see
This
John
is
Elway?
Arnold
Watch Josh
Bennett.
Allen.
Yeah.
This is Arnold Bennett Elementary School, Fort Collins, Colorado.
That's
Mile
the
High
only,
School.
that's the only teacher Thomas remembers his entire career. His entire life.
Yeah.
As he said, if you're not a Broncos fan, you suck.
In my
Your
eyes.
second
In my
grade,
eyes.
you're nothing.
That's
Just imagine her
hardcore in second
staring-
grade. And
staring,
hardcore,
just
you're
like-
like
7.
As she grits her dentures.
No, I'm weird because like I know there's a lot of people that are going to be like Terrell Davis or Rod Smith or John Elway. My favorite player of all time is John Mobley.
No, that's a good
I
one.
love that guy.
That's a good one.
He
I haven't
would
heard
lay
that
the
name in
smack
forever.
down and then point and laugh.
Yeah,
I was going to say Bill Romanowski, but he just went weird when he went.
I don't
away.
count. I don't count him.
yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't count.
He gets
I
an
like-
asterisk.
Mine
No.
is John. I love John Mobley.
I got to
and
meet Romanowski.
he was John Mobley was still on the team when I went to my first game. I think it was 2002, 2003 was the first time I went to a game.
Is
And
that
he was on the team.
is that on the same era as Carl Mecklenburg?
No, he was
John-
out.
No.
Mobley was like early 2000s.
Yeah,
Mobley was
Oh,
on.
okay.
No, Mobley was on the championship team.
Because Mecklenburg is a close second for
Yeah.
me. The way that guy used to hit people, good
Yeah.
lord.
Yeah, when you I love like Mobley, and then you had Ian Gold, and then you
Ian
had
Gold. That's what I was gonna say. Yep, Ian
uh,
Gold, Ray
who was the other
Crockett,
one?
all the good
Yeah.
ones.
who was the other linebacker next to Mobley and Gold? It was somebody tell me who it was.
Al Wilson.
Al
There
Wilson.
you go, Al Wilson.
Yeah,
Al Wilson.
I love those linebackers. They were awesome.
So
No, I went to Invesco Field, like when it was still Invesco Field, and then you had Mile High next to it, and they had like a big John Mobley poster hanging down on the stadium. So I was like, yeah, that's my boy.
That's dope. Mine's gonna be I thought it was gonna be more of a deeper cut, but you called it out as not being a deep cut, and that's Rod Smith. Rod Smith was like the first, like probably the first player that I was just like, I like this guy. Like this is really cool. That catch, you just like that catch against the Falcons in 33, Super Bowl 33, that you just burns into your brain for forever. That over the head, just sweeping catch is just so gorgeous. Who actually liked one of my comments on an Instagram post of his. He posted on something on Instagram, and I think he replied to it. And that was like really exciting for me.
Yeah,
'Cause that's
he's a
my
cool
favorite
guy.
job.
He
Yeah.
does. He likes to interact with the fans, and
Mhm.
he's just a really cool guy. I like him.
Yeah. But that whole receiving, just like that whole offense was just so awesome to watch. And what's funny is like the last person I thought about during that time was John Elway. Like I didn't even because he was kind of past his prime at that point. Like he was, it was mainly, Terrell Davis was averaging 150 yards a game in postseason, like a crazy person. So it's just like, oh man. But those wide receivers with McCaffrey and him and Shannon and oh man, just like a great set. It's just a great squad.
Yeah.
So my favorite is Steve Watson. He's a wide receiver,
Nice.
about 79 to 87. I caught everything. It annoys me that he's not in the Ring of Fame, or he's so underrated. He was such a clutch player for the team for so many years, and he really is a fan favorite still. at one point in 1981, he actually was tied for the NFL lead with Alfred Jackson with 13 touchdowns. He had 60 catches, almost 21 yards a catch. So the guy was truly clutch. But he's my favorite, and I have a wall in my office actually devoted to him. So that's my guy. Always will be.
That's awesome.
Oh, and I will say when I was 10 or when I was 11 years old, I wrote him a letter, and he wrote me back. And
that's cool.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
He sent me a picture, and I wish I had the envelope it was in, because he actually, you could tell it was the same writing on the envelope. Back then, they were doing their own stuff, so he had actually addressed the envelope as well. Which is
Remember when
it in your museum?
What's that?
Is it in your museum?
It is here, yeah.
Remember when they used to get those books of like athletes like mailing addresses?
Yes.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. When I was a kid, they had these books of their mailing addresses, because I had to do it. One class project, I think, was write like your hero or something. I don't remember who I wrote. I think I tried like Michael Jordan or something, because I had just gotten a Michael Jordan book from my grandpa. But
I always got annoyed when those books, when it would give the team's address, I'm like, that defeats the whole purpose.
yeah.
My favorite.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna say John Elway, but he's really the only reason why I really got into the Broncos. I think that's mainly why I love John Elway. But like watching games and stuff, I really love to watch Champ Bailey. Like I really, he was just he was a playmaker. He was on the field. He was a Pro Bowl. I mean, what did he go to the Pro Bowl 12 times or something like that? And I wanted to see him win a Super Bowl, and it was kind of sad that he wasn't able to do that.
Yeah, it was I was actually watching one of those Broncos recap videos, and I totally forgot about how crazy I was about when they got Elvis Dumervil, and that sack he had on Tom Brady where he literally picked him off the ground and drove him down was just insane. And the fact that you paired him with Von Miller after 2011.
I can't think Doomerville without thinking of fax machines.
yeah, me too. The fact that he wasn't re-signed was because of a freaking fax machine.
Right.
Oh my God.
Kenneth has some good players too. That he
Yeah, I'm gonna get to all of them. Rich, Champ Bailey, Shannon Sharp, or John Elway. Dennis Smith. I don't know who that is.
I've heard of Dennis.
Kidding
Smith.
me? Okay,
No, I've never heard Dennis Smith.
Dennis was paired with Steve Atwater. In fact, he's gonna present Atwater.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But Kenneth, I don't know if you connected with Dennis on Facebook, but like Christy mentioned about Rod Smith, Dennis is super active with the fans, and in fact, if you ask him for an autograph, he'll even give you his home address, and you can send him the stuff. And so he actually signed a jersey for me. And what was funny was that it got lost. My jersey got lost somewhere in Atlantic City or Jersey City, New Jersey. Nice. And so I had to ask him for another one. But the guy is just so cool. And just like with Boggins, he actually, when we lost one of our pets, he actually commented condolences on the post that I had made. And he's that kind of guy. So he's just a cool dude.
You know what? I'm willing to bet, Glenn, that your jersey's in the exact same place where my Broncos stuff was left over from my trip to Colorado too. So it's probably in the same hotel, lost and found box, just sitting there chilling.
That hotel's got a bigger museum than you do in your house.
I'm still mad, man.
This stuff.
Raul
Flores, White Rhino. Reason my kid wearing number 77.
Oh, Mecklenburg, another underrated player, played all these different positions. Is
that a player? Kutztown?
No, that's Kutztown State, where Mobley went to school.
Oh, okay. I was like, that doesn't sound like a player.
You never know.
Yeah.
Well, I know. There's so many.
Yeah.
Oh,
Fangio's coming in cool.
Yeah.
I played defense in high school.
I think this is.
No one's coming in Ray Crockett, like Steve Atwater, Crockett, man. That was
you could put John Lynch a close second to Atwater.
I think this is where Kenneth was answering who was that third linebacker, because he's got Mobley, Gold, and Williams. Did Williams take over for Al Wilson?
Yeah, I think
I
DJ
think
was
so.
later.
Yeah, DJ was
later.
after Wilson left.
Yeah.
Let's see here.
Ray Crockett was a
brother with a
safety.
blast in the past.
Albert, I have not been a fan for so long yet, since 2012. That's all good. So my favorite are Wolf and Manning. Ooh, Wolf was good.
Another good one.
Yeah.
Derek Wolf to 2012, I believe, was his first season with us. Was really, really good.
He got not dirty. I was gonna say dirty, but like he came out of Cincinnati so like clean cut, and then he just became this like pure animal beast thing as he went along.
Yeah, him and Malik.
Yeah,
Michael Young was fun to watch too.
He had that long pass reception for the touchdown in the Browns game where the fumble at the goal line. Steve Sewell. Oh my gosh. I mean,
Yeah.
Now I sorry to cut you off, Mike,
No, go
but
ahead.
I had heard that supposedly Jay Cutler holds the record for the longest Broncos touchdown pass.
yeah, I think so. I think
When he threw a 60-yard bomb, and I saw the video, and it's really impressive. But I just wasn't sure if that was the
was
record.
it to Royal or was it to Marshall?
I think it was to Marshall in the end zone, just completely caught it like it was nothing.
I'm
you
just
know,
gonna
we could
assume it
sit
was
here
one of those
for
two.
we could sit here for weeks and not one person would say Jay Cutler, my favorite player. The reason why. But just going back to Steve Sewell, it's fun to watch the drive because he made a catch on the drive and took an absolute pounding right down the middle, a long pass, and it's just fun to see some of these older players. He was a first-round pick.
Boggins, and then he had a daughter. Imagine coming to meet Dad and Wolf opens the door. No, I was going to say like somebody had named that their favorite player was Shannon Sharp. I like Shannon Sharp too, but did anybody else feel like betrayed when he left and went to the Ravens?
I heard
You
it
always
was.
feel that way when
I heard it was a
player
money issue. Like he wanted more money in the
Yeah, he
Broncos
wanted
just-
and he was coming to the end of his playing time, wanting the Super Bowl. I get that, but it's like, dude, how much help could we have gotten from you if you'd stayed?
I'm
Like,
way more offended that he's on a show with Skip Bayless now than when he went to the Ravens, because Skip doesn't allow him to talk anything about Broncos there. It's always Cowboys talk. But the Ravens think he was always had a big personality. I wasn't surprised that he chased the money.
You know what? I love Shannon Sharp. I watch Undisputed every day. But let me tell you something. At this point, Shannon Sharp seems a bigger Kansas City fan than he is a Broncos fan because he hardly ever gives the Broncos credit for anything. He's not big on Drew Lock. I'm pretty sure he's not big on the coaching. And the only fondest memories of the Broncos he has is anything that has to do with John Elway.
Okay, now we are going to cover things like this comment, but one of the reasons why we're doing this episode now is because everybody on the face of the planet is talking free agent and draft and what players are going where, and there's nobody talking about anything else. So we're just kind of opening up to talking about whatever. Favorite players, favorite game, favorite Super Bowl, whatever. Now we did talk about Deshaun Watson earlier because there was a potential what it would take to trade to get Deshaun Watson from the Broncos. But honestly, there's really only maybe one or two teams in the NFL that could even afford him with the draft capital. Like he's going to want, or not him, the Texans are going to want like 3 first-round picks, probably a couple second-round picks, and maybe players on top of that. And I mean, you're only allowed to go 3 years with first-round picks to trade. So Denver's got 3. The Jets have 5 in 3 years. So there's no way that Denver can even compete. So as much as I would love to see Deshaun Watson on the Broncos, not going to happen. No. Like we'll get outbid super fast.
I wholeheartedly agree. I think that any asking price for Deshaun Watson is really, really high. And as much as I think he's a great player. You know, he's done fantastic things in terms of, his stats and his time in Houston. But I just don't see Denver just going that far, because if they do, shoot their shot and they get any veteran quarterback off of free agency, it's basically just you're basically giving up on Drew Lock almost, and I just don't see them doing that. Although nobody in Broncos country has any idea what to expect from George Payton. And we say this almost every single week. He is going to do something that is more than likely going to rub some people the right way and rub some people the wrong way. It's expected to come. And since we've been so used to, all of the things that John Elway has done as GM over the years, it can be quite shocking to some people and others not. But I just think that, staying with Drew Lock the course is the right thing to do.
I don't think it's, but if we have any chance at Deshaun Watson, I'm taking it. There's not even, I would give Drew Lock up 7 times and in 30 seconds than I would Deshaun Watson. That's not even a question. Not even a question. But there's also, Adam Schefter brought up a good point, is there going to be like 25 different teams calling about that. Like, I don't care who, unless there's like maybe 5 teams that have a quarterback where they're like, no, we don't. That's not a need of ours. Every other team is going to be calling about this, that he's potentially up for trade because he's that good and that young.
Well, the Broncos give up Drew to the Texans. The Texans immediately get 17 picks in that trade.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Mike, that was for you.
That was funny.
That was funny.
No, and it's kind of the same thing with Stafford. Like, we don't know where he's going to go. We don't know where he's going to want to go. We don't know if we can even afford him with draft capital. Like, we could get outbid so easy. And as much as I have ragged on Drew Lock the entire year, I did say a couple months in that, like, I think that it's going to be first 4 games of the following season, and they're going to bring in a veteran. I still think that's going to happen, but that doesn't mean that I don't want them to go after Stafford. I don't know. I don't know if, there was a thing I showed you guys where Stafford apparently picked where he'd want to go. I doubt that was actually him, but I don't know if Denver's going to want to be the top destination or if he wants to go somewhere else. I don't know. I would love to have Stafford, but until we actually see some movement towards going after him, I still think it's going to be Lock with signing a Fitzmagic.
I did see a report that they called. I did see a report they called on Stafford, but that's just due diligence. Yeah, multiple.
You have to.
Yeah.
He's not Deshaun Watson.
Yeah,
Mike's showing some restraint tonight. We're 37 minutes in, and
I'm trying to. Like, I'm trying not to rag on the guy. Like,
no, I said about Fitzmagic.
Yeah, that's about as active as I'm going to get on Fitzmagic until I hear something.
Rag on what guy? Lock or Stafford?
Huh?
Rag on what guy? Lock or Stafford?
Lock.
Oh, okay.
But no, we've had plenty of that. Okay, so
we have
what Super Bowl team was your favorite team? There's 97, 98. Unless you want to go with the season they lost the Super Bowl, but I would assume you'd want to go with the 97, 98, 2015.
Could be though. That's what I'm saying. Their team was insane.
I didn't specify. Not winning. Which Super Bowl Broncos team was your favorite?
I would probably have to say the 98 team because they were going in as defending champs, and Atlanta was rated pretty high. They had high hopes for I forget the name of the quarterback for the Hawks that year. I think it was some guy named Chandler.
Chris Chandler.
Yeah, because after that game, Chandler just wasn't the same. So, and it was almost John Elway was 37, 38 years old. Yeah. You knew he was towards the end of his
work done.
His career.
That's good.
He had prolonged it the most he could with surgeries and whatnot. So it was like the perfect way, to send off a man who really should have retired with 5 rings instead of just 2. Yeah. But you had a great cast of characters. Great. They had a great season, and as much as they tried to replicate it the following year, it just didn't happen.
Yeah, I don't know if I could not 98. I think would have been better if it was the Vikings in the Super Bowl instead of Falcons. Because I mean, like the 98 Super Bowl wasn't even really that. I mean, there was no stress. There was no question on who was going to win that game. 97, there was, that was a screamer. you were concerned about that one. Same thing with 2015. Like, you didn't go into the Super Bowl going, oh crap, like this is going to be a blowout. We're going to completely crush them. You had no idea because Cam Newton. I don't know. I want to say 97, but I remember 2015 more. So I'll go with 97.
Good choice.
For me, it's definitely 97, especially being witness to all the losses, suffering through the blowouts, the disappointment. The Washington game, we're up 10-0, and then in the second quarter, give up 35 straight points. It's over. But with 97, the This Is for John, the helicopter, Terrell. I mean, there were just so many great storylines. The fact that Green Bay was favored, it was just magical. I mean, as a true Bronco fan, I mean, you had to. I remember crying after that game. It was just such an incredible moment.
The look on Brett Favre's face, though, at the end of that game was just like amazing. It looked like he was already making room for another ring before that game, and then to just. So I will give you that. I mean, obviously, I didn't see that game live, but I did see the 98 game. So that's probably why I feel closer more to the 98 game than the 97.
Yep. All right, I'm going to give mine. Then I actually got to head out a little early today, but I'm going to go. 97 was the first for me, but I'm going to have to go with 2015. That defense was just like, I don't think they get enough credit for how good they actually were. The amount of Hall of Fame quarterbacks that they held Aaron Rodgers to 70 passing yards during one of the regular season games that year, and then went into the playoffs and had to compete against Ben Roethlisberger, Tom Brady, and then Cam Newton, they went 15-1 that year. The only game they lost was to a division rival, so it was like they didn't get credit like that whole entire year. And then they came through and just completely shut down Cam Newton and broke Cam Newton. He was never the same. And even after that, we continue to beat Cam Newton every single time. Like the next year, they started us off playing the Panthers, almost like a prove it kind of game. And even without Manning, that was also one of my favorite parts, is that Manning was on the tail end of his career, and they couldn't use the Manning card to be like, well, they had Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning barely did anything that game. Like the defense completely shut down the Panthers, and it was just hilarious and great to watch. I post that GIF anytime anybody tries to praise Cam Newton. I'll post the GIF of him like falling down on the sidelines and rolling around right after the CJ Anderson touchdown. It's the best thing in the world. I love that with all of my heart, and also being very more aware now than when I was 9 years old of what's going on in the actual roster and everything. So that's gonna be mine. But
there's also a gif of where Cam's
see you, Marcus.
Bye, Marcus.
Bye.
Bye, guys. Let's see you later.
Have fun.
Hey, who had the Harry Potter?
Marcus did.
He's my new best friend.
He has a ringtone or something.
That was awesome. Rich
Sorry,
said to turn it off. I'd turn you off, Rich. Turn off the Harry Potter.
I was saying the gif of hopefully Cameron remembers to wish Von Miller Happy Father's Day.
Right.
That's always a good one.
That's always fun. Yeah.
Thomas, 97. Elway finally won one. Huge weight lifted off my shoulders after the disappointment in 1996. I knew Elway was 6'96". There, I said that right. I knew Elway was near the end of his career, and I did not know if he would get a Super Bowl ring.
That was a good game. My favorite, actually.
97.
And I don't remember watching it when it happened live, but I've watched it many, many, many times since, and it's always like I can just keep watching it, and it's always like I'm always still sitting here going, "Go!" I'm rooting and I'm screaming. It's just a good game, and it was always hard watching John Elway struggle year after year, and then finally the win. But we did go, like, 15 was good. We went to Super Bowl City for it. It was here in San Francisco. So that to me, my girls got to watch it, and so that was enjoyable to me just because they could cheer on the Broncos too. So
yeah, I remember they had the helicopter in 97. That didn't seem as big of a play to me until like many years later. And then it's like, holy crap, that was amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, even now you don't see quarterbacks doing a lot of that. I mean, except for maybe like Cam Newton because he's huge. I was gonna say Patrick Mahomes, but not really because he doesn't get hit like that.
Right.
You just don't see quarterbacks getting hit like that anymore. And I didn't think it was that big of a play until many years later.
Well, he got hit by 3 guys at the same time. He dove.
Yeah.
He gave it his all, and that was the play that you knew the game was over. And when he got up, pumped the fist, and his teammates all go running over to him. I mean, that's the thing.
Pumped the fist, everything cracked. Ah,
right.
No, he landed that prescription deal.
Yeah.
That's. Let's see here. I think Richie's talking about Cam Newton. Speaking of players who are never the same again, Cam Newton.
Yeah.
Okay, I still don't understand why he didn't die for that ball. Like, I understand not wanting to get hurt, but like you've been getting your butt pounded the entire game. Like, dive on the fumble. Why are you standing there looking at it?
Yeah, you can say the same thing.
Everything was on the line.
You got the whole offseason if you break something. Like, dive for the ball.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can say the same thing.
I think that was just part of it. Like, part of it. I think they broke him mentally that game, and he was just, whatever. He just kind of gave up. So that you can still see that today. Like, we played them, and Von Miller wasn't even on the field, and still Cam Newton, you could see that he was scared, and I think he's going to be like that for the rest of his career.
Yeah. Well, that's one of the things that thinking back to what we were talking about earlier, if, during that we had DeMarcus Ware, would we have been as successful if we had kept Doomerville instead of gotten Ware?
I don't think so. I mean,
you know what I'm saying?
No,
I think DeMarcus
like
Ware, he brought something to the team that was beyond just talent. He was pumping up the guys. It's way more than just having a talented guy on the field.
Well, and somebody had made the point of like, when DeMarcus Ware came in, Von Miller's entire like attitude and lifestyle changed.
Yeah.
To me, kind of what DeMarcus Ware was bringing. And now DeMarcus Ware's gone. It seems like we're starting to see the DeMarcus Ware effect start to wear off.
It could be. But to be honest with you, up until the Broncos went out and got Bradley Chubb, it was really hard for them to have been able to found a successor to DeMarcus Ware and somebody of his caliber to come in. It would have been nice to see what they would have had in somebody like Shaquille Barrett, but unfortunately he didn't want to play behind guys like Von Miller and and I forget who else. But he wanted to make that kind of money, but not play behind him. So that's why he ended up in Tampa.
Yeah.
Chad saying Rodgers should have ran and tried to do the helicopter last Sunday. There was that. Was it fourth quarter? One of the last drive they had.
Third, yeah, it was the third and something. I said the exact same thing too.
He could have ran for it and scored that touchdown or got pretty darn close, and he didn't. Like, as far as the game goes, that's the only blame I put on Rodgers. I think the reason they lost that game was because of the coaching.
Yeah.
Now I'm not counting that last field goal as part of that because I understand that call. Like they had intercepted Tom Brady 3 times. The defense was completely crushing the Bucs in the second half. So yeah, you kick the field goal that you're going to need anyways, and then you see if your defense can stop the offense. The Bucs offense, which they'd been doing all second half. So I at least understand that call. Do I think they should have gone for a touchdown? Yes, they should have gone for a touchdown.
I understand it.
it really made no sense at all. I mean, and Rodgers' explanation when he said he threw the pass on, that was the third down, and then the next play was when they kicked the field goal.
Mm-hmm.
And when he said, I threw the pass because I thought I was going to get a fourth down. Well, if you thought you were going to have fourth down, you would have probably tried to run and at least get closer, so you have a little bit more flexibility as to what you can do if maybe you get to the 2-yard line or the 1-yard line. And they definitely, if they were closer, they wouldn't have gone for that field goal. Personally, I think you go for the touchdown all the time, because you never know if you're going to be that close to the goal line again. And at least you have Mason Crosby, the guy got a pretty good leg. And if push came to shove and they needed that field goal, all they needed to get down to was the 35-yard line at that time. It was
and that's why I think that if Rodgers had run it would have been completely different.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah. You got to believe that the Bucs offense weren't going to come out, slinging up passes like that. They were going to play time conservative football, and that's exactly what they did. And it just the fact that Aaron Rodgers kind of came out afterwards and he was all sad and mopey, and now he doesn't know if he's going to be back in Green Bay next year, which is kind of silly. And
he said that. He was asked, and he said, "I don't know why I wouldn't be back."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, he'll be back. There's no way they're gonna let him go. Jordan Love's not ready. That would be stupid.
You know what?
They're not even the backup.
Yeah, there's a certain saying, you got to learn how to lose just like you know how to win, and unfortunately, that just didn't rub me the right way. Yeah,
and I think we'd all picked Packers and Bills to be in the Super Bowl, so we all suck. We're all wrong.
Yeah.
And like, as much as I hate Tom Brady, I would much rather see Tom Brady win 7 than the Chiefs go back to back. I do not want to see the Chiefs go back to back.
I wish the game would end in a tie.
Well, it can't end in a tie.
I know it can't. That's why I said I wish.
But say what you say, feel how you feel about Brady. To be part of 10 Super Bowls in 19 years in your career is just, I mean, let's stop talking about who's the greatest quarterback of all time, because
it's locked.
It's him. I mean, there's no question about it.
Yeah, the only debate comes in who's second. And even if you think that Tom Brady isn't the most talented quarterback, at this point it doesn't matter. Like, he's been to 10 Super Bowls in 19 years. Like, he's over 50% in going to Super Bowls in his career. So who else can say that? And he's won 6 of them. Nobody else. I mean, the most was 4, and that was tied with a couple of quarterbacks. And Brady just took a crap on that and went to 6, possibly 7. I hope they beat.
You could say they went to 50%, played 3 years.
Yeah.
As much as I like to agree with you, Mike, I just don't see, unless Kansas City comes out and Patrick Mahomes gets hurt again, or they do something really silly, I just don't see them losing that game. And we saw what that Bucs defense got done during the regular season with Tyreek Hill. So if Tyreek Hill can make a Bills defense look silly, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, but the Bucs do not look the same as they did earlier this year. They're on fire right now. This is the Bucs that we thought we were going to see at the beginning of the year. Like, you remember the hype they had for the Browns last year? That's what the Bucs are living up to this year. Like, they're at like their peak right now. And the Chiefs didn't look all. I mean, they looked good, but I just think they overmatched the Bills. I don't think the Chiefs looked as good as they could have. Well, I think last year's Chiefs were better.
Yeah, well, if the Bucs win, then a lot of their defensive key pieces, which I believe is a big reason why they made it to a Super Bowl, not so much on Tom Brady's arm, is they're going to be losing a lot of defensive key pieces, and it'll be interesting to see if Todd Bowles can rebuild whatever the Bucs lose in free agency. But I mean, right now it could be a close game. I don't know.
Vic, anyone see Manning play live? I flew out to Denver for the home opener in 2013 against the Ravens, where Manning threw 7 touchdowns. That would be a game to go to.
No, I've only seen one Broncos game my whole life, and that was when I forget his name. The wide receiver that left for the Texans.
Demarius Thomas.
Yeah, thank
Demaryius
you.
Thomas.
I had him.
I kept thinking DeMarcus is like, no, that's not it.
No, when Demarius Thomas left, like literally a week later, I went to Denver, and I got to tell you, I've been to a bunch of Bears games here in Chicago, like pregame whenever the Broncos came. But going to Mile High and just seeing a sea of Broncos fans and the flags, and I'm telling you, I felt like I turned around and telling my brother, you know what, just leave me here, dude. Just go back to Chicago without me, because I felt at home. It felt great, and being in the stadium and just feeling whenever the crowd would get loud and stomp and the whole stadium would shake. It was just unbelievable. One of the best times of my life.
Yeah,
I've seen Manning play here in California, play the Raiders. I've been to a few games, and also when we played the 49ers. So that was good.
Yeah.
It's always good to see your team play, all your favorite players out there.
Yeah, I've only
even
been to
though
one
there's
game
no
and
other fans.
Yeah. No, I've only been to one game, and that was Brian Greasy.
That's a good one.
Oh.
I love Peyton. I really do. I actually saw Peyton play in his first professional game of his career. I happened to be in Indianapolis for another reason, and I saw the preseason game is opening night at the RCA Dome back in 20-something years ago, 22 years ago. So that's kind of cool. But that guy was a legend.
Raul, what was your favorite team that didn't make the Super Bowl? Mine was 96. Mine was, what year was that? Was that 2012 that we lost to the Ravens on that Raheem Morris stupid jump too early moment?
Yeah,
that was my 2012. That was my favorite.
2014 would be mine, because there was no way in heck anybody would think that the Colts would come into Mile High and beat us, and then a week later go into New England and get stomped.
That was a heartbreaker because we really we had it in the bag.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, did you have flashbacks to that at the last play of the half against the with the Packers and the Bucks with the long bomb over the
yeah, you kind of just took a deep breath and you didn't breathe until you saw where that ball landed.
Who was that quarterback that threw it, man? We should have gotten him.
No. He's going to be a free agent. Let's go get him now. Whoop, whoop. Oh, let's see here. No back-to-back for Kansas City. I agree. Again, I hate Brady, but I don't want to have Kansas City go back-to-back. Let's see. There we go. The only Broncos game I saw was when Tebow was here. I would have loved to go to a Tebow game.
Well, was it one of the comeback games? Which one was it, NorCal?
Maybe it was the Pittsburgh playoff game. That was fun.
2015, yeah.
Or the Bears game with the Matt Prater kick at the end. That would
yeah. I seen the AFC Championship game in 2013. Got to see two of the greats play each other.
Wow.
That's awesome, Chad.
There you go, Christy. I hate living in Oakland.
Yeah.
Another Oakland hater.
So did the Raiders.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's see. There we go. Thomas, I met Manning when he played for Indy. A friend of mine told him I was a Broncos fan. Manning was a class act and spoke well of the Broncos. And he's obviously going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. And I don't think there's any question to that one. I mean,
no.
If there was ever a player that was meant to be a first ballot Hall of Famer, it's Peyton Manning.
Mm-hmm.
The presentation was 13 seconds.
Yep.
John Lynch's presentation was over 31 minutes, I guess, but
Peyton's like, yep.
Yep. Get the mold started.
NorCal. It was against the Raiders. Okay. Did we win? I don't remember if we won.
Probably. I think Denver owns the versus record.
I think Denver does in most of AFC West. I think we have the record, or not. We have a winning record against every team in the West
so far.
Hopefully,
I think so.
Yeah.
If I'm wrong, tell me. I think we do.
I think we do.
We're letting them catch up.
Yeah, we're letting them catch up.
Yeah, that's not cool.
Not
All
at
right,
all.
well, that's gonna about do it. This was fun,
hmm
and
It
there's
was
so
great.
much more we could have talked about because the Broncos are a very old team, and Glenn can remind us of everything because he's a very old person. So he-
I know I was like the historian today. In my
He's putting
day,
Broncos history on stones. Tink, tink, tink.
Pull
no,
out
but
the flag.
the audience participation was great. Thank you for
Yeah.
sharing your story.
Yeah, it was. We love audience participation. We're glad for everyone that came in. Like Raul, we got Richie Rich, we got Thomas, NorCal. Oh, who else we got in here? George Moravi, Vic. Dun, 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 dun. I think I got them all. Did I get them all? Everybody. We just want to remind you that we go live every Thursday. Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Go ahead, like, subscribe, follow us on each and every one of those. Participate in every live podcast that we have. We love it. We enjoy it. Go ahead and leave your comments, questions, any memories you've got of the Broncos. Go ahead and leave it to us. Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter. And we'll make sure we get back to you. So make sure you are tuning in next Thursday when we have another episode. I don't know what it's going to be about yet, but we'll figure it out. But thanks for joining us, and have a great weekend.